If I told you that AI and the inevitable merging of artificial intelligence with man and machine could be ushering in the second coming of Jesus Christ, right now we're witnessing something humanity has never seen before. Machines that think, robots that look human, and even technology that merges with our minds. Here's the craziest part. After watching this video, you're going to see some eerie similarities between what happened in the book of Genesis, the beginning of the Bible, and what's going on now in our day and age. Now, the specific part in Genesis I'm referring to is when God decided to destroy the world with a flood, and why he decided to do that. Was it simply all about the corruption and evil in the world, or was there something else more to it? You see, Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. What exactly did he mean by that? Was he simply referring to how there was so much evil in the world at the beginning of humanity and making the comparison to how it will be at his second coming? Or was there something else underneath the surface that he could have been hinting at? Some people think the flood happened as a result of evil. Some people think there was something far more destructive at hand. You see, God made mankind in his image, but in Noah's day, that image was corrupted. You see, the line between what was human and what was something else were starting to get blurred. And now, similarly, you'll see, when you look at today, we have artificial intelligence, transhumanism, the push to upgrade humanity. Are we making the same mistake all over again? And to be clear, I'm talking about humans merging themselves with machines and artificial intelligence. If you think that sounds bizarre, it's because it is, but it is happening. If you don't believe me, I pulled this clip from the Joe Rogan podcast that aired just yesterday. Check it out.
AI, and it doesn't have any desire to travel.
It knows better than to reach out.
Well, the idea is that it no longer becomes biological, so it no longer has all of the needs. Like, if we have all these different Darwinian mechanisms that are enabling us to become human beings, if we eventually create artificial intelligence and if we merge and become sort of cyborgs, if we lose...
Now, my thought process originally started with, would it be considered sinful for a guy to have an AI girlfriend? Think about it. Millions of people are already forming emotional bonds with AI and language models, and some are even calling these artificial intelligent companions their soulmates. And this is going to be a serious question Christians are going to be confronted with here very soon, especially when humanoids become mainstream and they claim that they start to become conscious, which some have already made that claim. But the argument will sound something like this to condone it. Say a man struggling with loneliness and has a lack of companionship, and an AI relationship could provide emotional support, meaningful conversations, and even encouragement for self-improvement. But you know, they could even point to scripture to back up their claims. At Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, it says, God says it's not good for man to be alone. I'll make a helper suitable for him. And you know, I could see some people saying, well, if I'm alone and this helps me not to be alone, then, you know, where's the harm? Now, the short answer is yes, I do think it's a sin. And there's a couple of arguments that Christians could use to make their case as to why having an AI girlfriend or even an AI wife would be considered a sin. But I think there possibly could be some rebuttals to these arguments, except one. And this one is really the linchpin that shuts down the entire conversation of having an AI girlfriend. God's original design for a relationship was two humans, and more specifically, one man and one woman. You see, Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, so God created mankind in his own image. And what makes us humans special is that we are made in God's image. And an AI language model or humanoid is not in God's image. Therefore, having a relationship with something that does not fit that description will be outside of God's intended design for human relationships, which are meant to reflect his nature, love, and purpose. Regardless of what you think, this conversation is right around the corner, but this thought exercise also sparked another idea, something even more interesting. The rise of a Neuralink and what appears to be the inevitable fusion of humans and machines. This is also distorting the original design that God intended, and in a much more sinister way. Here's the craziest part. this has happened before. At the beginning of humanity in Genesis, talk about it. AI and AI relationships, that's one thing. But now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. How does AI and the merging of man fit into what we were talking about at the beginning of the conversation with the, ushering in the second coming of Jesus Christ? Genesis chapter 6, the Bible tells us about a corruption that happened on earth, a hybridization of the divine and the human. Fallen angels called the sons of God took human wives, and their offspring were the Nephilim. They were giants. The Bible calls them mighty men of renown. They were half human, half angel, and these beings represented a perversion of God's creation, a mixing of the natural and the supernatural that corrupted the human race. It tells us the result was so destructive, so unnatural, that God decided to destroy the earth with a flood to purify humanity. And the scriptures say that he preserved Noah and his family. Says that he preserved Noah and his family because Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. Now, some would say that word perfect means that he was fully mature in his walk with God. Others would say that word perfect means that his bloodline was pure, that his bloodline had not been corrupted by the Nephilim, and that's why God decided to spare him and his family. Fast forward to today, we might not be mixing with fallen angels, but we're beginning to blur the lines between what it means to be human and what it means to be something else through AI, neural implants, and this idea of transhumanism. We're merging man and machine, altering the very nature of humanity. Could this be the modern day equivalent of what happened in Genesis, another form of corruption? Transhumanism is this idea that humans should evolve beyond their natural biology, using technology to enhance our bodies, minds, and even immortality. Neuralink, where humans are implanted with AI-connected devices to enhance brain function, to AI companions replacing real relationships. I mean, we're on the brink of creating a hybrid humanity, a new type of being. But remember, we're created in God's image, and when we start altering our humanity by merging with technology, we're moving away from God's intended design for us. And just like the Nephilim represented a corruption of human nature, the push towards AI and transhumanism could be seen as the same perversion of God's creation, twisting what it means to be human. And here's where things get even more fascinating. What if what happened in Genesis is a type prophecy? A type prophecy is something that foreshadows something much bigger, a much bigger event in the future. And the Bible is full of what we call type prophecies. When God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son, that was a direct foreshadowing of God sacrificing his only son, Jesus, 2,000 years later. You have the Exodus. That wasn't just about Moses helping Israel escape out of the bondage of Egypt. That was a prophetic shadow of Jesus leading us out of the bondage of sin. And Jesus also gave another warning. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. So what happened in Noah's day? The sons of God mixed with human women, creating a hybrid race that defied God's natural order, and this corruption of humanity led to divine judgment, the flood that wiped the earth clean. Now, in our time, humanity is once again altering its very essence, what it means to be human, not with fallen angels, but with machines. Through AI and transhumanism, we're merging man and machine, blurring the lines of what it means to be human. I mean, could this be history repeating itself, almost like a prophetic pattern unfolding? Once again, just as the corruption of flesh in Genesis 6 led to the flood, is this technological corruption setting the stage for the final judgment, the return of Jesus Christ? Jesus told us in Matthew that the days of his return would be like the days of Noah. People were eating, drinking, and living life as normal until the flood came and swept them all away. But the flood wasn't just a judgment on sin, it was God's response to the perversion of his creation. And could we be seeing that same distortion of humanity today? And as humanity mixes with machines, creating a world that's no longer purely human, we could be witnessing a repeat of what happened in Genesis, a corruption of what God made. And just as God intervened in the past, he said he's going to intervene again at the second coming of Jesus. And the question is, are we living in the generation that'll see it happen? The world's changing faster than ever before. What once seemed like science fiction is now a reality. If Jesus warned us that his return would mirror the days of Noah, then we have to ask, how much time do we have left? Revelation warns of a time when control over humanity will be absolute, a world system that dictates who can buy, sell, and exist. And with AI running global systems, digital currency replacing cash, we're watching prophecy unfold before our eyes. We're finally starting to see how someone like the Antichrist could actually control every transaction and even limit your ability to buy and sell goods. And one example of this is in China. With the social credit score, they know everything about you based on your score. They can determine everything you can and cannot do: travel, take flights, buy and sell goods. The question isn't whether technology is good or bad. The question is, where is all this leading? Are we advancing, or are we rebuilding Babel, defying God's design once again? One thing is certain: Jesus is coming back, and just like in the days of Noah, most people are going to be caught off guard. But you don't have to be. The signs are here. The warnings are clear. The only question left is, are you ready? Now, I'm not saying AI in and of itself is a sin, but the merging of humans with machines, now that's a different story. At the very least, it's a very interesting and fun thought exercise. But let's talk about it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Is AI and transhumanism a good thing for humanity, or is it leading us toward the final days? Let me know below. By the way, guys, my name is Daniel Ray. I appreciate you guys watching. If you liked the video, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.